This is Weekly Woman by Jubilance for PMS. Well, welcome, Kimberly. I'm so excited to have you on Weekly Woman this week.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for asking me to be a part of it. I feel honored, honestly.
Yay! I'm so honored that you're here. Uh, and you're calling in from LA. Where in LA are you?
I'm in North Hollywood, so I'm in the Valley of LA. Yeah, I found my niche here in North Hollywood. I was about to say it's like super quiet, but as I hear like some loud truck outside, but for the most part, compared to like West Hollywood or like by the beach, it's like super quiet and chill and away from like the chaos of the city
Oh,
of LA.
that
Yeah.
sounds good.
I live across the street from the dog park and like the corner coffee shop. So it's super relaxed.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Do you have a dog as well?
I actually am a dog auntie. So my friends all have dogs. I have one here with me now. She's like a 4-month puppy. She's under the table. Every time my friends go away on vacation, they leave their dog with me. So it's nice because I get to keep them for a little and then give them back.
Yeah. I think that's the
They're a
best
lot
of
of
both
work,
worlds.
especially this little puppy here. My friend knew what she was doing because she's like barely trained. So I'm training her, and I really feel like a single mom right
Oh
now.
my gosh, that's amazing. Well, you're in the perfect location then.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I like taking her to the park, and in LA, everywhere dogs are welcomed everywhere. So it's nice. I'll take her to like any restaurant I go eat at. They'll give her a little doggy bowl with some water, some bacon, and it's cool. I like to experience it. But like I said, it's nice that her actual mom is coming home in a couple weeks. So it's a lot of work. And
Yeah.
I have to cook her food. Literally cook. I barely cook myself food.
You have to cook the dog food?
Yeah, her mom is a little crazy. So yeah, it's okay. She's worth it. She's really cute.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun. That's good.
Yeah,
You can like have her for a bit and then say, okay, here's your
exactly.
dog.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Kimberly, can you tell us what you're working on right now?
Yeah. So I'm actually working on a brand new venue in Beverly Hills. It's called Aya. It's like a night lounge, kind of like a restaurant lounge and nightclub mixed in one. I work side by side with the owner. So basically, I hired the staff. I pick out the DJs, I book the tables. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but it's exhilarating and fun, and you get to meet people from all over the world. And it's actually about combining nightlife and spirituality into one. So
Oh,
we burn like sage and copal, incense for like the good vibes, and we have tribal house music. And it's just always we have entertainment like fire dancers, belly dancers, and it's just nice. It brings people from all over the world because LA is like a melting pot, and brings them together, have a good time. I love music. I love to dance, and yeah, find passion in building these venues. I actually just did one in Miami a few months ago. So I was like, I went there for 3 months, and I was like, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna open this venue and see how I like Miami. And wasn't I like Miami, just not for me to live. I missed LA so much, so I came right back.
well, that's good to figure out. That sounds so interesting. How did you get
Yeah.
into the space of building these places?
Yeah, so throughout college, I worked in a restaurant for like 5 years throughout my whole 5 years in college. And that's when I got into the hospitality business. I served, that's how I made extra money. And then I was actually in my master's program in Pennsylvania for social work. I was a counselor for troubled kids in a group home. And I did that for a couple years while in school, as well as restaurant, because it didn't pay like as well. So I
Mhm.
needed some extra income. And then in the middle of my graduate program, I'm like, I don't know if this is what I want to do anymore. So I was like, I had the opportunity to come to LA. And not that the job itself, working with troubled kids, wasn't something I want to do. It's something I definitely want to get back to, but more for like a nonprofit. Um, I, for a nonprofit, because it's not really rewarding in income, and it's a lot of work. Like it's really a lot of work. So I would like to open like my own boys and girls club to help troubled kids in the future. But yeah, as far as my social work degree, I kind of stopped that and came to LA, and it's expensive here to live, very expensive. So I immediately got into the nightlife industry here, and I served at different high-end venues in like Beverly Hills and West Hollywood. That's how I met so many different people and just made the right connections. And I worked for a few different owners, and I have pretty good work ethic, I guess. And they saw potential in me, and I got moved up to management. And yeah, now I'm here helping the people I met along the way open up their own projects. So it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's amazing. And just
Yeah,
the idea that you have this space that you're working on right now that's kind of a combination of both nightlife and wellness,
exactly.
spirituality. So it
Yeah,
seems like everything that you're doing can kind of be incorporated into that work,
exactly.
um,
Hmm.
which is really fascinating. Wow. And now you were in another sort of house at one point.
I
Um,
was.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about being on The Bachelor?
Sure. Yeah, it's surreal. It still feels like a dream. I'm like, did that actually happen? It did. Um, Being on The Bachelor was honestly like, of course, a once in a lifetime moment for me. I grew up watching The Bachelor with my mom, and I would always say, if I'm 30 and I'm not married, I'm going on The Bachelor to find my husband. And ironically, my cousin signed me up, but she signed me up for like the Bachelorette. It was the wrong season. And they called me and they're like, hey, you signed up for the wrong season, but we'll definitely hold on for you for the Bachelor. And it was a really long process. I honestly didn't know I was going on the Bachelor until like 10 days before I had to leave. Yeah, they don't tell you for a while.
Oh,
Yeah, so you can imagine how chaotic it was to get ready to leave for potentially a while.
hmm.
And yeah, I had to pack like 3 suitcases and go shopping and get all these gowns and clothes for any type of weather, because they don't tell you if it's going to be hot, it's going to be cold. As you saw in the season, they went to the Bahamas where it was hot, they went to Europe where it was cold, so you needed a wide variety of clothes. So it was crazy getting prepared, and on top of that, I had to quit my job. And yeah, I quit my job, and yeah, trying to get ready, trying to get your hair done, trying to get your nails done, and it's a lot to prep for. And as far as actually filming, it was so much fun. I was actually comfortable on camera. That didn't bother me at all. Um, the most nerve-wracking part was they barely showed it, but you know, when you do your welcoming entrance and you come out the limo, you do something special. And I did a whole rap, and I actually had like Jesse beatbox on the rap, the host, and it was a whole rap. And then I had to do it twice because they were like, okay, that was good, but go back and do it again, because I guess like the audio didn't pick up. So I had to go and do it again. And yeah, it was nerve wracking of rapping in front of all these people with cameras, and also Zach, who's interested in you, but being potentially his wife. And that was pretty scary. But other than that, it wasn't too scary. Being around a bunch of girls, women, where it was really different for me, mostly an only child. I have a brother from my dad's side, but I grew up mostly as an only child, and I was never like in a sorority or pageant or even a team, which a lot of these girls were. So they were comfortable with um, being so intimate right away. Like there's girls cuddling on the couch the first night, and I'm just like, it takes a while for me to open up. So it was challenging, but it was a good challenge. It challenged me to open up quickly and become comfortable and feel safe amongst other women. So
Wow, that sounds so interesting. There's all those layers that you don't see when you're watching
Hmm.
the show or when you were
Hmm.
watching the show growing up. Like,
Right.
I didn't
Yes.
know like they would tell you like just 10 days in advance. That's
No, yeah,
crazy.
it is crazy. It is. It's nerve-wracking. If I was on edge for a while because I knew it was a potential for a while.
Mhm.
But I didn't know for sure until 10 days before. So,
How does it work? Like, so your cousin submitted you and they said,
mhm.
like, we'll hold on to this application,
Yeah.
which is so cool. That's awesome. What
Hmm.
happens after that? Do you have to like audition for them or
Yeah,
interview?
there's a bunch of interviews. So my first interview was just a simple phone call interview. The person who had my application just went over my application about myself, and then a couple months later, I had an interview with some of the producers in person over here in LA, and that was kind of nerve wracking. It's like four women just staring at you and getting to know you, but you know that they're judging you. They are judging you because they have to choose you to be on the show. So it's nerve wracking to be take off the mask and be yourself while knowing that you are being evaluated and judged for who you are. But I just have the type of attitude where if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And if it's not, it's not. So I just went in there as myself and hope for the best. And then my final interview was a Skype interview. It was supposed to be in person actually, but I had planned my birthday to Tulum, my 30th birthday. So I
Cool.
had to do it on Zoom. So I'm like, great, I definitely don't have it. All these other women are going in person. I have to do Zoom. It's probably not good. So I met with the all the top producers of The Bachelor, and they still weren't telling me. And this was like 2 weeks before. They still weren't telling me if I got it or not. No, they were like, "Do you have any more questions?" And I'm like, "Am I going?" And they're like, "We can't answer that right now, but
Wow.
maybe you should start to pack." And I'm like, "I'm not packing for no reason. That's a lot."
Yeah. That is so
So,
stressful. Like, how
yeah.
did you go about getting all of those clothes ready? You said you had to go shopping, but like,
Yeah,
who
and it was
places
hard because
like,
my mom. Yeah, my mom lives in Pennsylvania on the East Coast, so she wasn't able to come within those 10 days. It was too short notice, and I don't like shopping, honestly. I don't like to shop. So that whole thing was stressful. My two best friends came out and we went to the mall and shopped until we dropped. And I didn't stay too long on the show. So I used a very small percentage of everything. Good thing I already have a big closet full of clothes. So like casual clothes I was okay with, but obviously the gowns and the cocktail dresses, I needed to buy
yeah.
that brand new. So now I have a bunch in my closet for those special days. Whenever they come, I'm good for like the next 10 years if I stay the same size.
Yeah, perfect. I know because you have to have so many clothes. I
Yeah.
always wonder like it must be so expensive to go on this show.
It
Um,
is. It is. Yeah, it is. But again, it's a cool experience to be able to go find love on something that you've been watching your whole life. Of course, it just seems like a fairy tale. So I'm like, let me take a chance at it. Like I said, I believe in like things what that's meant for you will come to you. So I'm like, this is for me. I'm gonna go and find my husband. If not, I'm gonna go meet some great girls, which I did, and made some really good friendships. So
oh, that's amazing. Do you still keep
yeah,
up with anyone from the show?
I do. I do. We all like show each other love on Instagram. Charity, the new bachelorette, she sent me a beautiful message, which was nice because you think you had such a, I feel like I had a short amount of time with her during her experience, but for me, it was my whole experience. So I'm like, is she gonna even remember our friendship or like our relationship? And she did. She sent a nice message. But as far as who I'm like consistently in communication with, I would say two of the girls that went home on night one actually, Becca and Sonia. They both went home night one, but that first night we were together the whole night, just making jokes and sipping our champagne and just expressing how crazy this whole thing was. And Becca lives here in LA, so yeah, we keep in touch and we hang out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there
Yeah.
must be like a huge contingent in LA. So that
Yeah.
would be really nice to be able
Well,
to
you'd be
get together.
surprised. Like, Becca and I are the only girls that live in LA, and Bailey too. She actually lives
Oh,
in Venice. Haven't hung out with Bailey yet, but yeah, all the girls are really good girls.
oh, that's
I
awesome.
hung out with Christina as well. I don't know the Christina. She's a single mom. She's
Oh,
great. She had
okay.
a lot of backlash on the show, which was not deserving at all. She's actually like a really funny, big personality. Even when I first met her, I was like, okay, this girl's a little too much. And then you like get to know her and you're like, it's just Christina. She doesn't mean anything harmful at all.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Now, how are
Yeah.
you finding love now?
Yeah. I actually, so before I went on the show, I went on a couple of dates with somebody and I left for the show in July. I mean, I'm sorry, in September. And I went on a date or two with this guy in July, but I just didn't like make anything of it because, of course, I'm like, I may be going on The Bachelor, I may not, I don't know. So I was honest about the whole thing, like, hey, I can't continue this because I may be going on The Bachelor. And I don't want to be one of those girls that they're like, this girl is dating someone. So I called it off with him. And then right when I came home from The Bachelor, I took some time. I literally didn't tell anyone I was home. Like I was like a hermit. Like I was embarrassed that I was home so soon, to be honest. Um, because yeah, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna go in here and like get to know Zach and spend so much time with him. And it didn't happen, but it happened in the way it was supposed to happen. And yeah, so I was a little embarrassed when I came home. So I kept to myself for a while. And then about a month later, I was like, oh yeah, remember that guy I dated in July? I should call him. And I did, and we've actually kind of been dating ever since. So
Oh,
it's been pretty good. Yeah,
that's
yeah, it's been
awesome.
nice.
All works out how it should.
Yeah, it really does. It really does, which is surprising because dating before The Bachelor was really rough.
Mhm.
Especially in LA, everyone is looking for the next best thing, I guess, sometimes. I don't know. I just didn't have any luck out here in LA.
Oh, I think it's the same in New York City.
Yeah, yeah. I think small town vibes are where you like most likely to find love, not in these
Mhm.
cities with all these options and all these apps, dating apps and all that. But yeah, so I'm happy right now. I'm
Oh, that's
content.
wonderful. Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
glad.
thank
Now,
you.
if you could give advice to someone, one of our listeners, what would you say? Just like the best piece of advice you've ever been given or would give someone else?
I would say talk to yourself like someone you love. Give
Mhm.
patience to yourself. Talk kindly to yourself. Try not to judge yourself. I think we all have like this perfect version of ourselves in our head that we try to fulfill, and it's so frustrating when you can't, when you make a mistake, or when you're just like that perfect person, and we talk harshly to ourselves more than we would to our sister or our friends. We would talk kindly to our friend and try to make them feel better about themselves, and sometimes to ourselves we're so harsh. So I would say talk to yourself like someone you love. Be patient with yourself.
Mhm. That's lovely advice. I love that. Talk to yourself like someone you love, because like
Yeah.
what would your best friend be saying uh,
Right.
about you?
You
You wouldn't say those things to your best friend. So
exactly. Exactly. And we all know how important it is to love yourself. So yeah, it starts there. Just talking to yourself like someone you love. And I
yeah.
have to take that advice too, because I forget
Oh,
as
me
well.
too. That's
Yeah.
great advice.
Yeah.
And something that we always ask on this podcast is, what is your definition of womanhood?
My definition of womanhood is lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. It's so hard to be a woman, it really is. We go through a lot. We have so many different roles: wives, sisters, mothers, friends, workers. Then we go through all of these hormones and these cycles that make us a little crazy sometimes. And just the challenges in the world that we face, the discrimination that we face, and who better to support each other than our sisters, each other. So my definition of womanhood is lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down. We're all we got. You know, I'm you, you're me, and we shouldn't be treating each other any other way. So
Yeah, that's an awesome definition. Don't tear each other down,
no,
each other up. Yeah,
yeah.
that's lovely.
Mhm.
Um, and Kimberly, is there anything else you'd like to add to our listeners today? How can they find out more information on what you're doing in LA and what you're up to?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Kimmy G with 2 Y's. I'm always posting on there my new projects that I'm working on and just my dogs that I babysit. My everyday life. It's not the most entertaining, but I'm cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast
Of
today.
course, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I'm so big on womanhood and just uplifting each other. So when you reached out, I was like, oh, this is perfect. Thank you. Really, thank you so much for having me.